But if I ever do get married, I don't think I'm ever going to live with the person. I think that's right off the bat, no living. Because the best time of your relationship is when you had your own place. Wasn't that was the best time? When you had your own place and your own stuff where you wanted it. Was that? And you had your own separate lives. And you would still spend time together, right? You know, you'd go on dates, you'd go on trips. But then you go home. And you go, God, I love her. And I love my cable and my refrigerator and my couch and my life. But then they move in and they're just right in your face the entire time. Hi, 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 hi. We live together now. Hi, 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 hi. Hi, what are you doing? What are you thinking? How about now? Or 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 now? That was yesterday. What about now? Or now? Or now? Or now? What are you doing? Where are you going? Who was that called? Why are people calling here? Why do you know other people? Do you still love me?
WRJN Radio, I'm Don Rosen. Thanks for joining us here. What is going on with the weather? Now, our meteorologist kind of blew over it, no pun intended, but let's get into the weeds here. Cloudy today with a high near 34, 1 to 2 inches of snow tonight, 3 to 5 inches tomorrow. What did that little rodent say, that groundhog? In early spring? I'm going to get my hands on that groundhog. He's going to be ground chuck. Where the heck did he get his information from? I like the way we blame the groundhog, don't you? It's his fault. The weekend, not bad. Sunny Saturday, cloudy on Sunday, but in the high 38 on Sunday. So, but still, where did this snow come from as we head into April? Well, now I know we've had snow in April before because we had snow on opening day at the ballpark here in Milwaukee. I don't know if, I used to call it County Stadium, Miller Park. Just got used to Miller Park and they changed it to American Family Field or something. So, yeah, I remember it snowing on the opening day, but still 3 to 5 inches tomorrow. I don't think that's going to be, they say heavy at times. Sounds like winter. Sounds like January is what it sounds like. Anyway. You got to live with it. Now, I put the shovel away here at the radio station. I said, we don't need that shovel anymore in the lobby. Get rid of it. At home, my wife put all our shovels. We have 3 shovels. She put them away. All the salt put away. I took all my ice scrapers and all my window cleaning stuff for the snow, packed it away. Who saw this coming? Don't believe it's coming back soon. Yeah, it is coming that soon. Clear tonight. Clear right now, rather. 26 degrees in Racine. Coming up tonight, it's Brooklyn at Milwaukee. The Nets will take on the Bucks 6:30 here on WRJN Radio. Hey, coming up, we've got a brand new contest, a statewide contest we're running here at Civic Media where you can win a stay at Chula Vista Resort and a ton of other prizes. So we're going to be talking about that right after 7 o'clock. I'm going to tell you how you can win that prize. It's really nice. So be here right after 7 before we get to our guest. We're talking Route 66 today. We're going to take you right through the state of Missouri. And hopefully if you do a summer road trip this year, you might do Route 66. We took you through Illinois already, right to the Chain of Rocks Bridge, right when we get into St. Louis. And now we're going to start at St. Louis and go right through Missouri into, I think, do we do Oklahoma or we Kansas next? Kansas is only like 2 miles on Route 66. Oklahoma is the whole state and Texas the whole state. I've been on Route 66 right up until Texas. right at the edge of Texas and New Mexico, and that's where I ended it because we had to turn around. We had vacation was going to be over, so we had to head home. But yeah, it's fun. Where did we go? What was the last stop we made there in Texas? I got to look. I brought my book with me today, my Route 66 book. I can't think of the name of the place. Yeah. It's right where they have that Cadillac Ranch where all the Cadillacs are in the ground. You've seen that picture, right? They're all like face down into the dirt. That's the last stop we made on Route 66, and we had to turn around. I'm kind of nervous about the rest of it because there's a lot of winding roads and mountains, and up until that point, everything is flat. Okay, I'm going to look up in just a moment. I'm going to get to the name of that town we stopped in. I can't think of the name of it. I'll figure it out. Hey, are you one of those responsible adults who gets back to 0 unread emails each day on your email account? In other words, you have nothing that's unread. You may not clean out the whole thing, but you read everything. Or is your inbox full of them? A new study found letting it stay cluttered might be affecting you and your mental health as well, more than you might realize. See, they found people who let emails build up or use their inbox like a to-do list, and that can be a problem when it comes to something like remembering to pay a bill. They found that a cluttered inbox could leave you feeling flustered and disorganized all the time, and it could even be costing you hundreds of dollars a year in things like unnecessary late fees because you didn't open the email. I clean mine out. Every time I see an email, I check it and then delete it or save it. A bartender in Florida, I'm so glad I'm not on the dating scene anymore. A bartender in Florida is making a very good living slapping spring breakers in the face. If you've never heard of this before, it's called a hurricane shot, and I never heard of it. Most of the bartender's customers are men, but she'll slap women, too. For $30, get a shot, have a pitcher of water thrown in your face, and get slapped in the face hard. She's been selling up to, get this, $6,000 worth a night, slapping people in the face. I'd like to go into that business. $6,000 a night. A real estate agent. Oh, wait till you hear this nightmare. This has got to be every real estate agent in the world will probably cringe when I tell them this story. A real estate agent accidentally burned a multi-million-dollar property to the ground while preparing for an open house. She tossed some blankets above a shelf, then turned on a lamp above, and it ignited the bedding. The company she works for was ordered to pay damages to both the homeowner and the renters who lost everything in the fire. A multi-million-dollar home, she burned it down. Mackenzie Scott, you know who she is? She's the ex-wife of Amazon's Jeff Bezos. And when she pledges to give away money, she does, big time. She just announced she's giving away $640 million among 361 small nonprofits. Now, she gave away more than $2 billion last year and nearly $4 billion in 2022. And she's still worth, after all that, $36.2 billion, so it's not like she's going to be clipping coupons and how to save a dime. But still, you have to appreciate her donating all that money now so it can help immediately rather than just promising to leave it someday to charity. Good for her, Mackenzie Scott. Of course, when you got, $36 billion in the bank, I guess maybe you might you can afford to be generous. Ready for a feel-good story? All right. I love these stories. Two high school sweethearts from Michigan reconnected after 73 years and started dating once again. Bill Hassinger is 90. Joanne Blacken is 92. They met on a school bus and went to prom together, but broke up after she left for college. Well, Joanne's daughter looked Bill up 2 years ago and realized he only lived 80 miles away, so Joanne wrote him a letter. Then he called her. They fell in love all over again in their 90s. Isn't that a feel-good story? If there's hope for two people in their 90s to fall in love all over again, there's hope for the rest of us, right? Odd but true. The tradition of bridesmaids all wearing the same dress goes back to ancient Rome. Apparently, they'd all dress the same as the bride to confuse any evil spirits that showed up at the wedding to snatch her away. I always heard the bridesmaids' dresses were always just a little uglier, so you pay more attention to the bride. I don't know if that's true. That's what I heard. It's just, that's what I've been listening to. A 37-year-old dad in Ohio is facing harassment charges after he kept calling his son's elementary school to complain about them giving his kid too much homework. When they stopped picking up the phone, he called the cops 18 times. He said he wanted to talk to the chief of police in person. He demanded the chief of police come to his home. That didn't happen. Several other officers showed up at his home to arrest him. They charged him with menacing and telecommunications harassment, both misdemeanors. Showbiz News. Aaron Taylor Johnson might be our next James Bond. According to a UK newspaper, he's expected to accept the role later this week. Ariana Grande, divorced. She's giving her ex a one-time payment of $1.25 million. A live-action Popeye movie's in development. You might say, wait a second. They had one of those already. Yeah, it was 44 years ago. Robin Williams played him in the 1980 movie Popeye. Danny DeVito says he and Arnold Schwarzenegger are working on a new movie together. Travis Kelce, you know that name, right? He's in talks to host a reboot of the game show Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? He'll do it for Prime Video. And Lady Gaga returning to Las Vegas this summer for a jazz and piano residency. And that's your showbiz news for this morning. I'm going to tell you something. You can now shop local without leaving your chair. The WRJN big deals are here, and you can save 30 to 50% on great local food, entertainment, and merchandise. Just log on to WRJN.com. Click on the Big Deals tab, and you'll save at Tony Chen's Chinese Restaurant, The Lanes on 20, the Breakout Escape Rooms, Marcy's on Main, Racine Youth Sports, the Peach Cobbler Factory, Fred's Burgers, The Personal Touch by Julie Florist, Lee's Deli, Blue River CrossFit Programs, great food at Dogs and Cream, Happy Eight Collectibles, and Von Hazel Jewelers. Look for the Big Deals tab at WRJN.com. And save today. Yeah, why not save 30 to 50%? Well, that's like a good deal to me. I'm always looking to save a buck or two. A new study found that even taking a 1-week break from social media makes us happier. Researchers asked 150 people who use it every day to stay off it for a week. And by the end, they were less stressed, less depressed, and happier overall. The sad part is, a lot of them couldn't do it. Hey, what am I going to tell you? And they get it going camping. The average person thinks they could survive 16 days in the wilderness, even though less than 1 in 5 know how to start a fire. They could do it if they had flint. That hotel is sounding better and better. And I'm surprised when people go on the TV show Survivor, they don't know how to start a fire. Now, you're going on Survivor. You figure you would practice some of this stuff so you know what you're doing. You would think so. 618. WRJN Radio, hometown radio refreshed, a civic media station. Looking for cloudy weather today with a high near 34. Snow, 1 to 2 inches possible tonight. Lows around 30, 3 to 5 inches possible tomorrow. Highs near 35. Sunny Saturday, cloudy Sunday. Right now, a clear sky, 26 degrees at WRJN, 1400 AM, 99.9 FM, and 98.1 FM in Kenosha. It's 6:20 at WRJN. Thanks for joining us. I'm Don Rosen on your Thursday morning, March 21st. Now, normally, this is usually the first day of spring. It started March 19th this year with snow, so I don't really know if we can call it spring quite yet. What about those poor flowers that are all confused? It was so beautiful a few weeks ago, and they started sprouting, and so flowers start to bloom, and it was like almost, 65 degrees. So they started blooming, and they are so confused this morning, especially with that snow coming. What about the animals, the birds and the squirrels? They thought this was it, and now they got to start looking for food all over again in the snow. At our house, they'll always find it because my wife puts out plenty of food out there. They get corn, they get bird seed, they get all the kinds of sunflower seeds. They get everything out there. The wildlife in our backyards, they're all fat. All the squirrels have big stomachs. The birds that can't even fly, they're so heavy from eating so much food. We feed them well. Hey, do you know a child who is coping with grief and the loss of a loved one? Hospice Alliance offers Connections, planting seeds of hope, a support group for children and their trusted adults to meet others who are also experiencing grief. To learn more about finding healing and peace, or if you're seeking hospice care, ask for Hospice Alliance, the award-winning community-based nonprofit that gives back through education, services, and grief support. To learn more, visit hospicealliance.org. That's hospicealliance.org. Hey, missed your favorite Ben & Jerry's ice cream? Ben & Jerry's has an online flavor graveyard for their discontinued ice cream flavors. Each one's got a photo, lifespan, and epitaph. You can't get it, but you can reminisce about the good old days when it was still available. Hey, check out the best time of day to do random things. For example, you want to take on a difficult task? You do it between 8 and 9 in the morning because your cortisol level is up. You ask for a raise between 11 and noon. I guess that's because your boss is less crabby at 11 o'clock in the morning. Go grocery shopping between 10 and 11 o'clock. You're full from breakfast, and you won't buy as much junk food because it's busier after lunch and dinner. Okay. So what time do we ask for a raise again? You ask for a raise 11 to noon. All right, I can hang around till then. According to LinkedIn, the 3 most annoying things people do in the office are talking loudly on the phone, sharing way too much information about personal things. I think I'd do that. And asking for help with the same tech issues over and over instead of learning how to fix them yourself. I think I share too much information, too much personal stuff. Pretty sure I do. Here's an achievement for you. A 70-year-old guy in Pakistan just broke a world record for crushing the most apples with one hand in 60 seconds. 21 of them. He beat the old record of 13. I'm sure his family there is proud as punch that he broke that record. All right, the good thing about writing your goals down is that you're constantly reminded of them. The bad thing is, someone might come across them someday and post them on the internet. Someone found a lost phone at a ski resort in Australia halfway down the front slope. They took a photo of the front and the back so they can help locate the owner. But on the front screen, it was open to a list of 8 life goals. 5 of them were fairly standard. The other 3 were a bit more unique in the way that, they probably weren't meant to be shared with the world, but we'll share that with you today, okay? Getting better at fighting. Have 3 girls on the roster. Don't get a haircut for 3 months. Maybe there should have been 9th entry. Zip codes in pocket so I don't lose them. Zip phone, rather. Yeah. If we're not supposed to say them, why did we just say them on the air? The job market isn't too great in China. Young people are working for their parents as full-time children. The parents say an average salary, and in exchange, the kids do housework and chores for them. What do you think? Here's a nightmare for you. Guy went on vacation, and his landlord rented out his place on Airbnb without even telling him. A bunch of stuff got stolen, and the landlord won't cover it. Several lawyers have weighed in. Sounds like you can sue for a lot of money there. Imagine the nerve of some landlord renting out your place on Airbnb while you're out of town. Man, that is a major lawsuit. How would you rate your accuracy with self-checkout? Have you ever realized something didn't get scanned and you forgot to get it out of your cart? Some Walmart locations are cracking down on self-checkout shoplifting, and some shoppers are upset because they claim they're getting hit with citations and petty theft arrests for honest mistakes. I never use those lines. I never use self-checkout. Never. I tried it once. I didn't like it. Wasn't working. I had to keep scanning, and then I didn't know if it was scanned. Then I scanned it twice by accident because it kicked in a few seconds, and I didn't like it. So I watch these police videos all the time on Facebook, and it seems like people are shoplifting from Walmart a lot, and they're doing it at self-checkout. They even have a name for it. They call, what's it, scan and run? Or something like scan and whatever. It's a word from, in other words, you didn't scan it, but you put it in your bag. So what they're doing is they're holding 2 items, they scan one, they put both in the bag, try to fool the people watching and the cameras watching them, but they don't fool them. So I heard, and I could be wrong on this, but I heard that Walmart is possibly going to start limiting those self-checkout lines because people, that's where they're stealing because there's no one to stop them, until they get out of the store. And you can't get everybody because there's so many of those lines, can't watch them all. But they're taking, they have 1 item in their hand, they scan it, but they put 2 items in the bag, and they steal. People steal all the time. And I like when they say, I didn't steal, I was going to pay for it. Yeah, you were at your car in the parking lot. When were you going to pay for it? I was going to pay for it. Here's the money. Well, it's too late now. And they say, I didn't steal it. You can't. Nobody saw. And you watch the camera, and you could see them stealing. And they deny it. They just keep denying it. Even though there's video footage of you stealing it. There's a witness. Everybody said you stole it. But I love the fact when we're in the car, I was going to pay for it. Yeah, what are you doing in your car? You don't pay for it in your car. You pay for it in the store. And then they get the one, well, I paid for it on my phone. Here's the receipt, and they can't find the receipt yet. And what a bunch of liars. Chances are, if you're a shoplifter, you're also a liar. That's what I found. Odd but true, a university in Shanghai, China moved its mandatory swimming test online. This happened during the COVID outbreak. Students sent in videos of themselves pretending to swim in their rooms, and that's how they took the mandatory swimming test. What's wrong with that picture? A poll asked people what's the maximum distance they consider walking distance. 27% said, if it's 30 minutes, they'd walk it. That was the most popular response, by the way. 27% said 20 minutes. If it's 20 minutes away, I'll walk it. 17% said 15 minutes. 5% said 5 minutes. And 4% said anything within an hour. Yeah, it's walking distance if it's 5 minutes away. When I had my dog, I used to walk every day with him. And it never bothered me. I just took him for a walk every day. And I used to love walking with him. And since, he passed away over a year ago, I didn't do that much walking anymore outside. I tried doing it, but I felt bad every time I, passed a site where I remember walking him. So I stopped walking. Cloudy with a high near 34 today. Snow 1 to 2 inches possible tonight. Lows 30. 3 to 5 inches possible tomorrow. I'll believe it when I see it. Highs near 35 tomorrow. Sunny Saturday with a high near 33. Cloudy on Sunday with a high near 38. Right now, clear. 26 degrees. We're talking Route 66 coming up this morning at 7:06 with the board member from the Route 66 Association of Missouri. It should be fun. Hey, the Nets are here in Milwaukee tonight. The Brooklyn Nets will take on the Milwaukee Bucks 6:30 at 5 Serve Forum. You can hear the game right here on WRJN. Hometown Radio, refreshed, a civic media station.
One thing good about getting older is I can reminisce, and I didn't think I would have that skill, but I am great at it. You should see me with a 7-year-old. I'm like, come here, youngster. When I was your age and we had to change the channel, now gather your friends around. They may like this. Well, first we had to get up. That's right, get up. And then walk towards the television set, balancing on the earth as it was spinning, and then reach out. And then grab this knob, grab it. And then we would turn it, and we had 2 through 13 and you. That was it. That's all we had. Those were the biggest crime I could commit would be to turn the channel too quickly. If my dad ever heard this sound, and he had like some weird, he'd be out mowing the lawn. I'd be trying to get to Underdog. What is going on in here, Wayne? I was just trying to get to the theme song. That's my favorite part. Well, that's how you break a television. Right there. That's how you break it. I didn't know there was a speed limit. I was just trying to get to the... Maybe you're not old enough to use a television. Maybe we can't have good things in this house. Maybe I should just stop working because everything I bring home, you kids break. Maybe you need some medication. I think you're overreacting to the whole...
It's 6:37 at WRJN. I'm Don Rosen. Thank you for joining me here on this Thursday, March 21st. Looking for a cloudy day today with a high near 34. Snow 1 to 2 inches tonight. Lows around 30. 3 to 5 inches possible tomorrow. Highs near 35. Sunny Saturday with a high near 33. Cloudy on Sunday with a high near 38. That groundhog, if I ever get my hands around his throat, he's in big trouble. He's in early spring. Speaking about spring and all great deals happening all around, you can shop local without leaving your chair. The WRJN big deals are here. You can save from 30 to 50% on great local food, entertainment, and merchandise. All you have to do is log on to WRJN.com and click on the Big Deals tab. Why don't you check it out? There's savings on Tony Chen's Chinese Restaurant, the Lanes on 20. Oh, I love bowling. Breakout Escape Rooms, Marcy's on Main, Racine Youth Sports, the Peach Cobbler Factory, Fred's Burgers, Personal Touch by Julie Florist, Lee's Deli, love their sandwiches, Blue River CrossFit programs, great food at Dogs and Cream, been there, Happy 8 Collectibles, and Von Hazel Jewelers. Look for the Big Deals tab at WRJN.com and save today. And keep checking because we'll keep adding to it. Well, that's great. 30 to 50% savings. Who can't use that, huh? 638 WRJN coming up. We're talking Route 66 through Missouri. That's at 7:06 this morning. We'll take you through the entire state of Missouri. If we can't finish it, we'll bring back our guest again. And Elizabeth is our guest from the Olwig, Elizabeth Olwig. And we'll bring Elizabeth back again for another go-round. We couldn't do Illinois in 1 hour. We had to take 2 hours for the state of Illinois. So we'll do it. We'll get through it. All right, a poll asked people if they believe they can communicate with the dead. 45% said no, you can't. 30% said yes, they can. 25% said they're not sure. That's spooky, but true. Study found people are actually more stressed at home than they are at work, and especially that's true for women. Getting out of the house for work made women even more relaxed than men. I agree. I don't get stressed out here at all. What's to get stressed out at? You know, I'm talking and playing some music and just talking to you, having a good time in the morning. Get home, and it's Stress City. You shouldn't have coffee right after you wake up in the morning because that's when your cortisol levels peak, and it makes caffeine less effective. You should wait until you get to work, then have coffee on company time. Your cortisol levels also peak between noon and 1 and between 5:30 and 6:30. So don't drink coffee then either. I would love to know what cortisol levels are. I got to look those up. We're always talking about those cortisol levels, and I have no idea what they are. Please, let's see. Planning a road trip this summer? All right. Here are a few healthy snacks you can get at gas stations on a road trip. Now, if you've ever been on one, every time you pull in for gas, of course, you got to go in there and pay, and you see tons of snacks. So what do you get that's kind of healthy? Well, low-sodium beef jerky, trail mix. It doesn't have chocolate in it. Protein bars, fresh fruit. What about chips, cookies, and Little Debbie cakes? Are they on the list of healthy foods? Yeah, we tend to bring our stuff in the car because you eat a little healthier when you bring your own snacks in the car. So when we do our Route 66 road trips or any road trips across America, we've been all the way to Wyoming and all over the place. What we do is we just, load up. We bring a case of water, the water bottles in the car. That ensures we stop for bathroom breaks every few minutes. And we bring, sandwiches. We make our own snacks. Because if you keep eating chips on the whole trip, you're going to feel miserable by the time you get to the hotel. 90% of people say they'd rather take a bunch of short trips than a long one. According to this survey, the top 3 reasons: they're less stressful to plan, they're cheaper, and it lets people travel more often. It's bad enough people take your shoes off on an airplane, but it's worse when they take their socks off. Even worse to do this. There was a video on Twitter of someone on a plane operating the video touchscreen with monitor with their bare, stinky feet. That's disgusting. That really is bad. That's gross. There's a type of dating event where people get 3 minutes to do it. It's a PowerPoint presentation. Do it in front of a room of single people, explaining why those people should date their single friend. So actually, you're doing it to get someone else to date. A PowerPoint presentation. 3 teenage boys in Canada saw a woman broken down on the side of the road at 1 a.m. She couldn't afford a tow truck, so they pushed her car 4 miles to get it home. Good for those teenagers. I hope she gave them at least a drink of water or something. They got to the house. Maybe a glass of milk or something. We're doing all that. Here's a list of 9 things we use every day here in the U.S. but are illegal in other countries, like baby walkers, ketchup at school. Mullets are illegal in other countries. Plastic bags, spanking, food preservatives, gum, weird baby names, and tobacco. So ketchup at school is illegal in certain countries, huh? Next time you're on a first date, it's safe to assume you're both pre-stalking each other online. In a survey, 4 out of 5 people admit they've checked out a person online before a first date. 41% look for a person's Facebook page. 8% check out other social media. 6% Google that person. And 21% do all the above. See, when I was in the dating pool, social media didn't exist. Good. Because that probably wouldn't have worked out well for me. Not that I would have found something bad. The person I was dating would have checked me out online and said, I don't think so. No. Here are some things people say all the time that are completely pointless. To be honest, which sounds like you're suggesting that everything else out of your mouth is a lie. Needless to say, or it goes without saying. In both cases, if you don't need to say it, why the heck are you saying it? Here's the thing. Oh, I hate when people say that. Here's the thing. Obviously, you're talking about something, so it's just filler that doesn't actually mean anything. I'm just saying, people tend to use that when they're insulting someone or being blunt. Somehow like that excuses it. You're a real jerk. I'm just saying, be that as it may, which is unnecessary and sounds outdated, and I don't even know what it means. Let's see. I think we did this story already. Yeah, I don't know if we did this. This is one of those odd but true things. Philadelphia is literally powered by burning money. The Federal Reserve in Philadelphia takes money that's too worn out of circulation and sends it to power plants where it's burned for electricity. Huh. You're more likely to get, I wonder how much of that money, I'm not going to burn this. I'll take a pocket full of this money home with me. You're more likely to get hurt at work on a Monday than any other day of the week. Fridays have the fewest injuries. Yeah, because people are ticked off they had to come to work on a Monday. That's why. Nearly 2 out of 3 single people, 65% say, we did this. This is another story. Okay. Here are the 5 things that are most likely to cost you a date when they check out social media. A bad profile picture, having no sense of humor, aggressive online behavior, flirting with other people, and oversharing. Boy, I'm telling you, social media really took all your secrets away, didn't they? A man flying to Kenya wanted to avoid overweight baggage fees, so he wore his clothes, all of them. He put on 61 shirts and 9 pair of jeans. And he might have gotten away with it, too, if he remembered to take the batteries out of his pocket at the bottom of one of the jeans. See, the metal detector went off, and he had to take off all his clothes. We don't do anything small anymore. Everything's bigger, faster, longer. And now we're talking the longest showers ever. A study found the average person takes an 8-minute shower. Might not sound long, but that's the average. It's already 3/4 of the average bath. How long does my shower take? 8 minutes? I might take 8-minute showers. It might be about 8 minutes. Would you say you're more productive in the morning or the afternoon? A poll on work productivity found we feel the most productive at 10:22 a.m. And it's all downhill from there. We had our first big slump at 1:27 p.m. and then another one on top of that at 2:06. Man, we get a lot of slumps during the day. I think my whole day is a slump. Once I leave here, I do a little work here, and then I got to go home. And I think it's all downhill from there. I really think so. Hey, listen each day at 7 a.m., 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 3 p.m. for your chance to win an overnight stay at Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells and be entered to win one of 2 grand prizes. That includes new bikes, outdoor patio furniture, a blender, and more. Listen for your chance to win a Chula Vista Resort overnight stay and more with our Ride into Spring statewide contest on WRJN. It ends Friday, March 29th at 4 p.m. For more contest information and rules, go to civicmedia.us and be listening right after the 7 a.m. news. And I'll be giving you the special keyword for the day today. It's a special keyword, and what you're going to do is you're going to download the Civic Media app in Apple or Google stores, wherever you get your apps, and use the text button to send the keyword. You're going to find WRJN on there. It will be printed. Go to WRJN, send in the keyword, and you'll have a chance to win in the statewide contest of a weekend getaway at Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells. I was just there just before Christmas. We spent a weekend at Chula Vista Resort. What a nice place. Beautiful in Wisconsin Dells. Gorgeous. At 647 at WRJN Radio. Coming up, we're going to be talking about Route 66 of the state of Missouri. Everyone, when I tell them my wife and I belong to the Illinois Route 66 Association, they say, I just would love to travel Route 66. It's real easy. You get in your car and you drive. It's not a big deal. You can start it in downtown Chicago on Adams Street, or you can just kind of skip the downtown Chicago area and you get started just outside Chicago. One of our favorite restaurants is on Route 66, too. We have two of them. The White Fence Farm, and the other one is the chicken place, Chicken Basket. Del Rey's Chicken Basket, right on Route 66. It's really easy to get to. It's not that difficult. Now, a lot of Route 66 isn't there anymore. It was decommissioned back in the 80s, and there's no federal money to fix it anymore. But there's historic Route 66. They're brown signs, and what you do is you go to historic Route 66 and just drive. And if the road ends, and it does sometimes, the road will just come to an abrupt end. You get on the interstate because the interstate runs parallel, and you go until the interstate sign says you get off here and continue on Route 66. And then if it runs out again, and it will eventually, you just get back on the interstate until it says you get back on Route 66 again. That doesn't happen often in our area. Maybe when you get down to Texas, there's less of Route 66, but it's still there. And travel it while you still can. It's fun. It takes you back in time. Yeah. And there's some old ghost towns on Route 66. You see some old cabin places, the hotels that are just, left to just decay. And you can look at them and think about the old days of Route 66. I mean, the whole book and movie, The Grapes of Wrath, took place on Route 66. 649, WRJN Radio, hometown radio refreshed, civic media station, 1400 AM, 99.9 and 98.1 FM, WRJN. Thanks for listening this morning. Do appreciate it. LA Lakers cheerleader, then the choreographer for the cheerleaders, and then a major choreographer on big TV shows. Paula Abdul, straight up. It's 6:52 at WRJN. Cloudy with a high near 34 today. 1 to 2 inches of snow tonight. Lows around 30. 3 to 5 inches tomorrow. That's what I'm reading on the National Weather Service site. 3 to 5 inches. Highs near 35. I'm sure it's going to be slushy type snow. It's not going to be like blizzard condition. Sunny on Saturday with a high near 33 and cloudy on Sunday with a high near 38. It's Brooklyn at Milwaukee, the Nets and the Bucks tonight, 6:30 on WRJN from 5 Serve Forum. Hey, don't forget, a little after 7 o'clock, it's our Ride into Spring, where you can text to win in our statewide contest your chance to win a Chula Vista getaway, as well as grand prizes that include a bike, blender, even a patio love seat. Oh, the Chula Vista Resort getaway is great, isn't it? That's a little right after the 7 o'clock news. We'll have that for you. It's 6:53. More of your morning news now. A police department in Michigan released a playful report claiming that someone was caught stealing someone else's lunch in the break room. And the alleged perpetrator was a police dog. It's unclear what kind of disciplinary action might be facing the police dog, but the department said they're considering Facebook follower opinions on how to proceed with the investigation. So far, a lot of people are pointing out that the evidence sounds circumstantial. Yeah. Forget the fact that he had like cheese all over his face and stuff like that. That's not evidence. All right, this is enough to make you switch to an all-meat diet. According to research, eating just one freshwater fish caught in the American river or lake, like the Great Lakes, is the equivalent of drinking a month's worth of water contaminated with toxic forever chemicals. Yeah, that burger is sounding better and better, isn't it? Guinness World Records and Elon Musk broke the record for the largest loss of personal fortune. Elon Musk lost $182 billion. The previous record holder lost $58.6 billion. And I panic when I drop a quarter in the car and I can't find it. I stop the car. Where's that quarter? This guy lost billions. I wonder if he even knew he lost the money. According to a study, the key to ending an argument is, this is with your husband and wife, just dim the lights. Researchers found bright lights make people more aggressive and emotional. So when you dim the lights, the couple got less upset and it diffused their arguments. And it may have been, makeup time. You know what that means. Here are some weird things that make you seem smarter. This is according to science now. We all want to seem smarter, not be smarter, seem smarter. Walking at the same pace as other people, not having a drink in your hand, using your middle initial, and not using big words. A study back in 2006 found that using simple words when you write makes you seem more intelligent. Huh. I went to college to learn all those big words. What a waste of college money that was, huh? So my new name is what? Donald S. Rosen. We'll put the S in there now. There's a company in Switzerland that will find you a baby name that's 100% unique, guaranteed. Not a single person in the world has that name. It costs $35,000, and if you want a name that's just unique in America, it's just $20,000. But that means other people in the world can have it, but they can never move to America. They'll be forbidden because they have the same name. Yeah, there are millions of Don Rosens all over. I ran into one. He's also in radio, too. When I first got into the radio, he was in this, I think, South Carolina, North Carolina. His name was Don Rosen. A lot of Don Rosens out there. The average person wakes up at 6:30 a.m., leaves their house at 7:23, finally feels ready to interact with other human beings at 8:40, and isn't fully with it until 9:40 in the morning. That's right. Most of us say we feel like zombies for the first few hours of the day. We hit our peak productivity at 11:22 a.m. All right. Let's get to some local news this morning. Stuart J. Waddles is in our news center this morning. Want to make sure you get all this fresh news from Stuart this morning. One person is dead after a fire at a Roosevelt Avenue apartment in Racine last night. Heavy smoke was coming from the second story of the multi-unit complex at around 5 last night. Some firefighters got everyone out. Others went to the source and found a woman dead in one of the apartments. She's not been identified. The Red Cross is helping those displaced. A cause not yet known. 2 inches of snow on the low end, 8 on the top. A springtime winter weather advisory in effect for most of the state ahead of expected snow. It's supposed to start coming down tonight, wrap up tomorrow afternoon, with the morning commute tomorrow expected to be slow going. The National Weather Service says the heaviest snowfall may be confined to a relatively narrow area, with uncertainty as up to where the higher levels will end up. Also this morning, the cherished memories of 2 major malls in southeastern Wisconsin are being crushed as demolition continues. In recent weeks, a portion of Regency Mall in Racine has been coming down, paving the way for the new Woodman's store and apartments. Yesterday, work started in Milwaukee to bring down Northridge Mall. After a 5-year court battle, the Northridge demolition aims to address concerns about the mall's safety and opportunities for redevelopment. Those are the stories Stuart J. Waddles is watching for us this morning at our news center. He'll update them throughout the day and add more to it right here on the hour and the bottom of the hour at WRJN Radio. Northridge Mall. I used to live in an apartment right across the street from Northridge Mall. I remember when they renovated the place. They added fix up the new food court and everything, and we used to spend lots of time there. at Regency Mall. Regency Mall, Northridge Mall. At Regency Mall, too, but Northridge Mall. And they started, I guess, tearing it down a couple of years back, and the company that bought it lives in China or something like that, and they weren't doing it, just letting it sit there, and vandals were taking over. And there's a website where these guys set up videos of abandoned malls, and they just tore the abandoned malls with permission. And they did one for Northridge Mall, where they just went through the camera crew, through all the movie theaters that were there. It's just really depressing when you see that. 6:58 WRJN coming up right in the spring. Your chance to win a Chula Vista Resort weekend. That's straight ahead. Plus, we're taking a trip down Route 66 with Elizabeth Olwig from the Route 66 Association of Missouri. That's straight ahead here. I'm Don Rosen, and you're at WRJN, Hometown Radio Refreshed.